You guys, we have got to talk about TANA Mojo because she has recently confronted Todd Smith about all the Vlog Squad drama. We're breaking everything down, how the internet is feeling about all of this, because it is a lot. There's a lot of feelings about everything. Okay, so we have an update on this ongoing Todd Smith and TANA Mojo situation, as she had to confront him, not on her own will, but Jeff kind of made her. Let's back up for a second though. Basically, a few years ago, TANA went on Jeff FM and told this story about running into someone from the Vlog Squad at the Babylon movie premiere. This was after she had already said on Jeff's podcast that she'd seen some of the Vlog Squad members before the premiere, and one of them told her that they missed Jeff. She told them they should just say that to him directly, and she found it so weird that they'd say it to her but not reach out to Jeff themselves. So at the Babylon movie premiere, she sees the same person again, and according to TANA, they were mad. She claimed that they actually yelled at her and said something about there being two sides to every story, seemingly a defense for them being on David's side and claiming that, you know, David has a side and Jeff has a side. Eventually, it came out that it was Todd who had gotten upset with TANA. Now, fast forward to recently, Todd was on Jeff FM and Jeff brought the situation up. Todd used to date Natalie and they broke up, and now he's kind of on the outs with the Vlog Squad. And so everyone's been kind of looking at this as a situation of him crawling back to Jeff because he doesn't really have anyone anymore. But Jeff being super close with Toddy at one point, and also hearing these really validating things about what his experience was like in the Vlog Squad, is willing to accept Todd back as a friend. But when it comes to this whole situation with TANA and Todd and Jeff asking him about it, Todd had a completely different version of what went down at the Babylon movie premiere than TANA. In his telling, he seemed to believe that TANA had accused him of something far more serious, like assault, when in reality, she never said anything like that. His explanation for what happened at the premiere was that all he did was cover her face in a group photo. That's it. And even Jeff seemed to get mixed up when talking about two sides to every story. Jeff thought that Todd said there were three sides to every story, and that TANA had one side, Todd had one side, and I don't know who he thought the third side was, but he completely got the situation wrong. It was a mess. Then after the episode, TANA was talking to Trisha about it on Not Loveline, and she just could not believe that Todd lied. She was like, I cannot believe that he told a completely different version of the story. Like, he did not admit to yelling at me or anything like that. He just claimed that he didn't assault me, which is not anything that she said. And fans were convinced that he must have mistaken her saying she was accosted for her saying she was assaulted, because in her original storytelling of the situation, she said that she was accosted. She stressed that at the time, there was so much going on in her life that she wouldn't have made up a lie about Todd just for content. And if she were going to lie back then, it definitely wouldn't have been about Todd. She also made it clear when she was sitting down with Trisha that she was not mad at Jeff at all. But you guys, the internet is kind of mad at Jeff right now because TANA sat down with Jeff and they talked about the Todd drama and the fact that Jeff sat down with Todd and this whole situation came up and Jeff brought Todd on, you guys. The whole thing, you guys, had people in the comments just boiling over this. It was just crazy to people that TANA has ridden for Jeff so hard over the years and cut off David and friends for Jeff. And now that Todd is dumped by the Vlog Squad, he's over here buddy-buddy with Jeff. And Jeff is willingly taking him back, and he's not really standing up for TANA like people think he should be in this situation. But before Jeff brought Todd on, he said that he understands how it looks having brought Todd on a recent episode, and TANA just said that she was happy for Jeff because she knew how important it was for the two of them to kind of rekindle, but she was mad about Todd lying on her name.
And listen, I know how it looks, me having brought on one of the members of a squad that, like, it was a just unspoken thing that, like, don't hang out with them, they don't hang out with us. And that was made by David because he had told Jonah, and that's where I was like, all right, fine, we're at war, you know. And I was like, you're one of my best friends, you know the situation. And Todd, of course, is the one that you got into it with, who was my closest friend out of that group. You know, we would have special bonds. Like, we would hike together and work out and, like, basically be
and
his
I know
therapist.
that.
Yeah.
And I know that.
And he's the only one who shed a tear for me out of that whole group. Like, actually cried. Which, it's Todd. He cries a lot. But still, that goes a long way with me.
No, I agree with that. I will
me.
say, that's what I was going to say, is that there is actually a lot of empathy in my heart that I know that you having him on and what you guys did that day was healing for you, and that's all that matters to me. Like, in regard of...
And I had your back.
You know,
Now, Jeff claimed to have TANA's back in the episode with Todd, but people in the comments feel differently, and certainly feel differently now, as TANA goes on to talk about being upset about Todd lying.
What upset me is he lied. Everything he said about me was a lie. About that interaction was a lie. He leads into it and he's like, well, I was sober. And it's like, first of all, no, the fuck you weren't. Second of all, that almost feels backhanded and derogatory as an easy, right? To just say that I wasn't. And that's an easy in to like starting that conversation.
Oh, you were in your drinking days?
Yes, to insinuate like, well, I was sober. And it's like, you weren't, first of all. And second of all, I was sober. Okay. I had just gotten to this event. And I walked up to Todd and like I originally said in the original episode of Jeff FM, he begins on a tangent where he is so clearly livid about the fact that there are two sides to every story, insinuating that there is David's side.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I said that that's what he said. You said on the pod with Trisha that Jeff said there's 3 sides to every story. No, I was like, that's what pissed me off. Like, Todd, there's the one fucking story.
So much miscommunication.
Yeah, Trisha said that I said it, but Todd was the one who said there's 3 sides to every story.
Now, this is where it gets confusing because originally Tana said Todd was yelling at her saying there's 2 sides to every story.
Coming at my neck like... There's 2 sides to every story.
Then, when Jeff sat down with Todd, he seemed to get that quote wrong and think that Todd said there were 3 sides to every story pertaining to Tana, Todd, and I don't know who else the third person would have been.
Yeah, because you were like, there's 3 sides to every story or something like that. But I thought you were talking about us. But I guess you're talking about just like Tana taking a picture or not, or however that interaction happened. You guys got in an argument.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be like a huge thing, you know?
Yeah, but then the internet, this is what we do for a living.
For sure,
things out
people
of
were saying I assaulted her. Like, what the going on?
But now in real time, sitting with Tana, Jeff was back to realizing it was 2 sides to every story. Todd had said to Tana and that he was defending that there was a side of David and a side of Jeff to what happened back then.
No, there's one side. It's this hit me with a crane, it's on video.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because when Todd then started yelling at me by the way, that there are 2 sides to every story, I said, what, Jeff and the crane? And then he got so pissed and he starts yelling at me. And I really like when I'm thinking about the exact verbiage, I don't remember because it was one of those moments where you kind of see black and like, also as a woman, and I don't like to hit this very often, but I'm hitting it right now. I think there is a point where you're like, oh, damn, this grown man is screaming in my face and I am a girl. And like that you feel that feeling in your chest and you're like,
what was he screaming at you?
That there's 2 sides to every story. I don't think he was. No, that's what you screamed at me. And then he comes on your podcast in today's day and age
and spread
misinformation. That I wanted a photo with him and Zayn as though I am in a purple hat at a Justin Bieber meet and greet in 2009.
So suddenly he was realizing what Todd was saying back then, but when Todd was right in front of him, he did not remember that. He did not remember the whole 2 sides to every story and like what sides Todd was trying to tell Tana on the carpet. Now, when Jeff brings on Todd, Tana is straight up clocking him for real, telling him that she is weary of them rekindling because he could have done it so much sooner.
As someone who really cares about you, I'm wary of this because I think that there was a large period of time where he could have showed you more loyalty than he did.
This girl saved me from 100% unaliving myself.
And Todd, I do think you took accountability for all of that. Like, I was really excited to see you guys, try to turn over a new leaf. And Jeff is so forgiving. And Jeff really, like, even just across our friendship, always discussed how much he missed you. And so it's true. So I was really happy to see that. But I can't respect that you lied. I think you're a liar.
Todd was standing by his version of the story, though, and Jeff goes on to say that this is from years ago, and he's sure things are misconstrued.
You said that I wanted a photo with you and Zayn, and that is just not what happened.
Okay, I remember it, it's all good.
You also kind of come off, you're like, I was sober, and like...
What is Tana?
Put it behind us.
I mean,
let's
I disagree.
That's how I remember it. It's all good. It's all good. That's just that we remember it 2 different ways.
So you don't remember screaming in my face specifically about the fact that there are 2 sides to every story in regard to David and Jeff.
Dude, I can't do this again.
I think you lied.
I didn't
lie. Fair. Let's apologize.
I know 100% I was sober. I was hungover from the night before. And you try to hop in a photo, and I said, "Oh, Jeff's gonna get mad."
Bro,
yeah, I did say that.
This is also years and years ago. I'm sure things are misconstrued and memories.
I mean, I guess that the conclusion here is that we are both dying on the hill of our truth and perception of that evening.
People in the comments weren't having it, writing, Jeff minimizing the way Todd treated him, the way he yelled at Tana, and much more. He literally sounds like me when I was trying to convince my friend that my ex actually wasn't that bad. That call was wild. Props to Tana for standing on business. I'm glad she told him he could have stood up for Jeff before he got dumped. Like I said before, Jeff is so forgiving, but you have to protect your peace, Jeff. These people are fake. Real talk, Tana might exaggerate things, but her story about Todd has never changed. Stand on business, Tana. Jeff, never doubt Tana's loyalty. I don't doubt Jeff loves Tana as a friend, but he will be just like any other man and will always be a boy's boy. Jeff, don't forget, Todd picked David's side willingly and was forced to leave because of the breakup. Tana's always stood by your side. Check your male friends. She's been telling the same story about Todd yelling in her face for years. I believe her 10,000%. And Todd is trying to save face and get in with Tana and Jeff. Props to Tana for standing on business. I love you, queen. So disappointed in Jeff. It's giving I'm acting cool around the boys towards the girl who was literally there for him at his lowest. But even still, in the end, Todd was not going to admit he lied. He was still standing by his story.
Wait,
like if you had your hand on the Bible in court, you were saying that's how that night happened.
100%. I've played that back so many times, and then even afterwards too.
Someone's going
so
to hell
here.
You
never yelled at me. You never yelled at me in my face.
Tana, what I strictly remember is you yelling in my ear because it was so loud in there, and you were yelling in my ear. And I was trying to talk to you and explain something to you.
You opened the conversation with there being, you really, like, you can't even admit to that.
You guys are frozen, so it's kind of hard to take you seriously right now.
Okay.
It's just hard to take you seriously in general, Todd. I don't know, dude.
It's all good, Tana.
Now, Trisha ended up talking about this whole story on her podcast, and Oscar was clocking how Jeff wasn't defending Tana in the episode with Todd, even though he tried to say to her face that he defended her.
And then Jeff was also like, well, at least I defended you when Todd was there, whatever. And I was like, no, you didn't, Jeffrey. Because when Todd was like, oh, yeah, she was drunk and she came out to me, Jeff was like, oh, Tana. He said that. I was like, Jeffrey is rewriting.
No, he had no defense. I don't like it. It's all messy. If you want to be his friend, fine. Leave Tana out of it. You know, if you have to like make it right like privately and be like, okay, I'm friends with him. Don't be mad at me. Tana won't be mad. She's like the last person to hold a grudge. Yeah. You know, she forgives friends all the time if they like slept with her boyfriend or whatever. You know, slept with guys she likes. So I don't buy it. I think Jeff was trying to be messy. Tana's just too sweet.
I cannot believe that we are talking about this story again after all these years. It is truly so insane what has been said and how long that this has been going on. And I also can't believe that Jeff surprised Tana with Todd, but she was standing her ground. It's just so wild how her story is so different from his story and how Jeff wasn't really taking Tana's side. He'd be like, all right, you guys, like, let's just settle things. Like, let's all just be friends, okay? I don't know, you guys. This situation was just so messy, and people in the comments clearly wish that Jeff had Tana's back a little bit more in the situation, but let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.